Are the Berserk fans goons? Are they goons? Now, I myself have got, in the last, I would say, 2 years. I had some friends that were like, yo, you need to watch anime, And then I would think of like the ooh woo motherfuckers. And I'd be like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'm going to miss that. I don't want to be one of those guys. You guys are mad cringe. And I was honestly like a little tripped out from anime. Just mainly the community drives me up a wall. Absolutely makes me go nuts. And so I went down this rabbit hole after I had some friends that were actually kind of based and normal and not fucking anime weebs. And they honestly were like, oh, you need to watch this, and these are cool. And this was after I'd already started watching One Piece, because one of my brother-in-laws was watching it while he was visiting, and I was like, this actually isn't that terrible. So I started watching One Piece, and then they suggested other ones. Eventually, I went down a big enough rabbit hole to where I had found Berserk, the Golden Age arc. Now, there's a lot of arguments when it comes to the Berserk community. Which one's the closest anime? There's never been a good anime. Now, I tried to watch the original 90s anime. It's good. It's just not for me, really. It's just also hard to watch. At the time of me trying to find it, I knew that it was on YouTube in English dub, and I know everybody who's like an anime fan's like, you watch English dub? Well, we're gonna ring you up by your nipples and then slap your testicles. My bad, bro. I watch English dub because I speak English, and I don't want to read the whole show. And, like, some shows I do watch in dub because I'm trying to watch the latest episode, or sub because I'm trying to watch the latest episode. But anyways, what I found was the Golden Age arc. The Golden Age arc was a trilogy of movies that was then turned into a TV show. Now, this is like 12 episodes or something, and it is some of the best, and I mean best content I've ever seen in my life. This stuff is fucking amazing. I honestly think that Berserk, the Golden Age arc, the anime, is one of the greatest things I have ever seen. And because of how good it was, I decided to watch the 2016 anime that has 2 seasons. It's awful. It's just, like, I'm pretty sure they hired the people who do Cocomelon to animate that show. It is so bad. And I'm not one of those guys that, like, ultimately hates, like, 3D animation or whatever, CG animation. But when it came to the Golden Age arc, it was just like nauseating and distracting how bad the 3D animation was. It just wasn't good. It wasn't fun to watch. It wasn't interesting. And it sucks because the content itself, the story itself was interesting enough, and I wanted to dive in it a little deeper, but it wouldn't let me because of how cringe that shit was. So I decided to buy the manga. Now, I've read probably the first 3 chapters of it, and I'm really into it. I really like it. I think Berserk is probably my favorite anime ever written. It's dark, it's gritty, it's interesting, it's got a lot of subject material that is wild. But at the end of the day, it's like builds to a grander narrative, and I think that it's almost one of the most dark and beautiful things I've ever read. Now, this guy says the goons who watch Berserk, and I'm interested to see what his perspective on it is. I'm always willing to hear some negative points. Maybe it's about the Berserk community, because I'm not really a part of the community. I'm not really a part of the anime community, to be honest with you. I'm just a fucking guy. I'm just a dude. I'm just that dude. But let's see what this guy has to say.
When we think of horrible anime communities, we usually think of My Hero Academia, whose community is filled with fatherless kids who like to ship every character with every character. Or we think about the Dragon Ball community, who won't accept that Goku isn't invincible. Maybe even Jujutsu Kaisen, whose community attacked the animation studio just because they didn't like something. But if I told you Berserk is up there as one of the worst anime communities of all time, would you believe me?
I mean, I could see almost every community can have like absolute fucking goons, and there's a difference between somebody who's like a fan of somebody and one of these fucking simps, one of these guys who make it their entire life. So I'm always down to see the craziest people on the internet.
Berserk, Volume 1, Chapter 1. Just finished reading it, and I have to say,
I mean, that's how Berserk makes you feel, though. When I watched the Golden Age arc, that shit wrecked me. Like, I was in pain. I was in pain after the Golden Age arc, in like a good and bad way. I've never seen something so dark and painful to watch and put me in such a dark place, but also like uplifting in a way because of how beautiful it is. Berserk is the greatest thing I've ever seen, and just in media in general, it is one of my favorite things I've ever watched. So it hits you. It hits you like this, and that's normally like these cringe outs on the internet are a joke to see. But Jesus, dude, does Berserk have some of the most gnarly shit you've ever seen? Especially when you think of anime and you think of stuff like My Hero Academia, One Piece, where it'll hit edgy every once in a while. Berserk's like, nah, fuck that, dude. Like, get the fuck off the porch. This is my house, dog.
Berserk actually used to have the chillest community, and at its time, the series itself was actually the oddball, as it depicted an overly badass edgelord who wielded a giant slab of iron that was too big to be called a sword. But as time went on, the community would be split into 8 different sections, like the Griffith Defenders, the Berserk Glazers, Puck Cultists.
Bro, anybody who's defending Griffith, anybody who defends that fucking monster is a demon, bro. Griffith literally just like molested somebody. So I'm not like, Griffith is like the worst character, like in terms of evil. He's a well-written character as a bad guy, but he is the worst.
And the quote-unquote delusional fans who call themselves the strugglers. Though before we cover these, let's talk about the edgelords of Berserk. Like how the nickname suggests, these guys are the type to say those corny ass lines like,
I am now the...
or
I'm really going to get mad if you keep doing this, bro. Like, and when I get mad, like, I see red.
well, we're in all black and looking as dark and mysterious as possible. I mean, even I went through the edgelord phase, but for these guys, it's definitely not a phase.
I never went through this phase. I just kept chilling as me. I just thought it was something deeply profound and painful. But these guys are fucking cringe, dude. Anybody who, so everybody, like, I remember in high school there was these type of kids, and I never made fun of them or anything. But it was like, bro, I like Green Day too, but calm down.
These guys are the type to calm it down. Bro thinks life is all sunshine and rainbows under a happy video of a dog smiling. If you're a
Bro, if you're that type of guy, if you're that type of sad fucking incel type motherfucker, you need to go outside and make friends.
Gus edgelord, you definitely have no friends because you think everyone is out to get you and your close family member and friends are actually apostles in disguise. You seemingly know this by the wannabe brand mark you tattooed onto yourself, or it's because you forgot to take your medication. And despite there being plenty of better arcs, your favorite arc
Dude, that symbol goes hard though. That symbol does go hard.
out of the entire series for some reason is the Black Swordsman arc, where the first chapter is Gus literally clapping demon cheeks. While the manga here isn't that bad, despite
Dude, it is savage. It's good, dude. Well, here's the thing that makes the Black Swordsman arc, because this is the one I'm reading right now. What makes it so good is the fact, like, I'm reading it retrospectively after watching the Golden Age arc, which makes you understand why he is the way he is. And there is moments that I think that people think of the Black Swordsman arc as just him being a big, sad, edgy boy. But there is some really great moments where you can tell that he doesn't want to be doing what he's doing, and he's just like has to because this is the world we live in. The more depth, it's something that after the Golden Age arc, you need to go back if you haven't read it since then, and you have 100% different perspective on the Black Swordsman arc.
Gus looking like a level 100 edgelord. If we look at the anime version, we get a whole nother story.
Oh my god, what the hell? Oh my god, punch my mama in the throat, karate kick my daddy in the chest. What the fuck? Oh my god.
It looks even worse from here, as everyone is pretty much looking like a Play-Doh character with random ass black lines that only make the scenes look worse. I'm not going to freaking go over all the horror.
This is the worst thing I've ever seen. This is what I was saying with some Coco Melon ass shit, and this is what sucks because I wanted to read this. That's why I bought the manga. It's so piss poorly animated that whoever worked on this needs to just never work on another anime.
Animation that Berserk 2016 and 2017 has, but if they were going to make everything look like it was made in the Unity engine in less than 30 seconds, why did they actually draw and make Puck look good? Now, what I can say is Berserk edgelords probably only ever watched the 2016 and 2017 version, which is probably why they have no idea what the series is supposed to be about. They also listen to Forgatsu on repeat while imagining the most edgy things known to mankind. Like,
Dude, I'm not the biggest fan of Attack on Titan. It's good, don't get me wrong, but I watched out after he became the giant fucking Skeletor thing going through the sky. I never watched the ending of it. I just don't care. It's one of those that maybe I'll get to it eventually, and I have to say that it did get good when he started being edgy, but it still was like he kind of sucked at that part. It ruined all of his character, and it was like, yeah, the fights are better, but the story is kind of boring. It got boring to me. It just kind of ruined the flow it had. I don't know. I didn't like the later parts of Attack on Titan. I thought the beginning really built on the characters, and I thought he was an interesting character, and the fact that he just became fucking, I'm here to end everything because I'm a big angry boy, I don't know, it wasn't for me.
These guys are the saddest motherfuckers on earth. Probably because they experienced something just as awful as what happened to Guts. But bro, you ain't gotta start singing those emo ass songs.
I will die for you over again. My daddy won't get off me. I just want to go to sleep, but he won't take it out of me.
Like, when are you gonna wake up and realize that life ain't all dark and gloomy?
Bro, the fact he showed this, bro, that's wild. That's wild. I don't know if you know what's going on in this scene, but this scene is fucking gnarly. Anybody who watched this and is like, oh, Griffith did nothing wrong, you are a goddamn demon, bro. You need to take a look in the mirror and realize you are the monster. You are a horrible person. Bro, he's just showing everything, dog. This video's wild.
Griffith's Defenders, the abomination that somehow infested the community of Berserk. These delusional, psychopathic, heartless cult-like group claims that Griffith did nothing wrong, despite Griffith literally selling his booty cheeks for money to an old man, and then telling his friends that the only people he considers his friends are his equals, which he thinks he has none. This caused Gus to leave, but Griffith tried to stop him.
Bro, this scene fucking cooks, dude. This cooks so hard. This shit is why one of the best parts of Berserk, because Griffith still thinks in his head that he is the real giggity schmoodle. He thinks he's dropping the beat like a goddamn demon, and Gus is like, you ain't him anymore. I'm fucking Himothy. I'm goddamn Himothy. It's so sick, dude. This is one of the most sick things ever put into a thing, and like, this is the moment that breaks Griffith, where he doesn't think he's the big man in town anymore. This is like the downfall of iDubbbz right here. This is the iDubbbz the anime. Is he thought he was the big man on campus, and then somebody took him down a peg, Sam Hyde, and then he went straight scorched earth and was willing to stab everybody and do anything to make himself look good.
After Guts beat his ass and left, Griffith's pride was so hurt that he decided to make the dumbest decision in all of anime. He assaulted the princess of the kingdom he was trying to rule. In this moment, he threw everything away like an idiot, and would later blame Guts for his dumb choices.
Yeah, dude, it was like the consequences of my own actions, bro. And everybody like rallied up to go save his ass. Everybody was like, oh my god, dude, we need to go save Griffith. He's our friend. And Gus was like 100% on board. And they were like storming trying to save his ass. And this dude just willingly ruined everything. Like literally sold out everybody and was used him as like a meat farm for his power.
He would be tortured for years and became disabled, in which Gus returned to bail him out. But Griffith would respond by trying to choke Guts. He would later try to assault Casca, which is Gus's girl, the waifu of Berserk. Then he ran off like a little pussy and summoned the god hand and proceeded to sacrifice all of his friends just because he thinks he's more important than everyone else. During it, he gripped Casca and scarred both Guts and Casca for life.
Dude, there was nothing more painful in this than when Gus comes out of the thing and he finds out she's alive. And he asks her, like, runs up to her and she gets scared because she doesn't remember anything. It basically took her back to a child. Like, it scarred her so bad that she can't even, like, process her own life anymore, that she's broke into a child. It's one of the most painful things I've ever seen in my life. Just watching the person you love more than anything not remember you because of something that awful happening to him. It's one of the most profound things I've ever seen, and to look at Griffith as not the monster that he is after that makes you a sick fuck. I'm sorry.
He pretty much did everything to betray his friends, but Griffith defenders claimed that if Gus never left, Griffith would have never done that. But do these goofies not realize?
But like, the thing is, Gus left because everyone else had a dream, had a vision that they wanted to become something, had something that they were building to, and Gus was just there being the mad lad with a sword killing people, and he wanted to find something more for himself. He wanted a purpose because everyone else had one and he didn't, so he went out to find his own purpose. And that sucked that he had to leave Griffith in the crew, but he was literally just idling. It was times of peace and he didn't know what to do. He felt like he was out of place because he was always a weapon of war, and now he wanted to find out who he was other than this weapon of violence. And throughout that, he started to find that he needed his the thing that he cared about most was his love, and he was going to come back for that, only to find out that everything was in dismay, and he had lost and then ended up losing everything. Yeah, and so now his whole purpose is to take Griffith down. It gave him a purpose, but not the way he wanted.
Realized that Gus left because he wanted to become Griffith's friend. Also, if my friend left, I wouldn't throw away everything and blame him, and I certainly wouldn't sacrifice them.
I think he's missing the point. That's not the one. That's one of the reasons Griffith left. He wanted Griffith to see him as equals. He wanted him to be on the same playing field, but he knew that for himself he needed to find the bald king of gaming. Me? Is that me? I'm pretty sure I got tons of hair, bro. I got fucking just ridiculous amounts of hair, bro. It's that native fucking tomahawk. That's what I got going, dude. That's where my hair comes from, my dark ass fucking hair, and I'm proud of it. But he's also missing the point that he left also for himself. It was one so that he could find a purpose, so that Griffith would see him as an equal, but also just for himself. It was only partially to be closer friends with Griffith, but not all of it.
Or a random ass kingdom.
Oh, you're the bald king of gaming. I didn't know you were bald. I mean, dude, Vin Diesel's sick as fuck and he plays video games.
These Griffith defenders are the most delusional and most infuriating groups of people. These are the motherfuckers who be defending serial killers who have murdered an entire family in cold blood.
Bro, this is like those people who, when they see a serial killer on trial and they think they're hot and they all of a sudden want to have their babies, or those people that literally write serial killers in prison. That's this type of group. This is that fan base.
Griffith is a good looking...
She is very pretty, though.
Ass guy, but damn, did you not see what he did? There are arguments for Griffith being innocent, such as him being the victim and him being tricked into betraying everyone he's ever known. I'm not gonna dive too deeply into this insanity, but here's a clip of the most sane Griffith defender I could find.
People like to believe that Griffith assaulted Princess Charlotte, but that's actually really not true. For one, Charlotte is 17, which is the age of consent in basically all of the developed world. Griffith's age is ambiguous, but he's no more than a couple of years older than her. What's more, to claim she didn't consent is ridiculous. Sure, she was a little surprised when Griffith kissed her, but then she got really into it, going so far as to stick her tongue...
Okay. This is, maybe because I watched the anime, but they had, like, something going on beforehand, and it seemed like they were going to clap cheeks regardless. It just seems like he sped it up. I don't know if that really came off as assault as much as, I don't know, it just didn't give me assault vibes. This one wasn't as much as... he does assault somebody, so that's 100% a thing, and then he becomes the villain, but this just felt like, instead of planning and, like, keeping the long game going, because it seemed like he was going to marry her regardless, he just sped it up and then made himself look like an asshole. Now, I could be wrong with my interpretation, but I didn't see this scene as assault. I saw it more as he showed up and they just finally had sex. Like, everything was building up to this, them having sex in terms of, like, how they acted toward each other, everything that was going that way. I didn't really see this as assault. I'm not defending Griffith by any means. It's just my interpretation. I never saw this scene as assault. So, a lot of this is news to me because it wasn't in my interpretation.
Mouth and stop pushing him away. Then he tries to touch her tits, but she says no and they fall. When Griffith sees that she's uncomfortable and trembling a bit, he stops immediately, comforting and reassuring her, waiting until she stops shaking to continue his advance, accepting her invitation to kiss her neck when she lifts her head back and when she lifts her arms to let him touch her body, after previously being frigid. This shows clear non-verbal consent.
Yeah, so, again, the way that this whole scene breaks down, and this guy sounds super fucking cringe, but the way that this scene breaks down, I didn't read it as, him, like, assaulting her in any way. That was something I did not read. Now, everything else that Griffith did was absolutely monstrous, and his head deserves to be on a pike.
Body language, and it's not like Charlotte is too meek to say no. Just look how she
Hi, Chloe! Welcome to the chat. We're reacting to some Berserk shit.
reacted to her dad's sexual advance. There is zero sign of sexual trauma from this advance. Griffith was also in a dissociative state of mind, so if anything...
Okay, his state of mind has nothing to do with this. His dissociated state of mind is why he, sped up his relationship with the princess. But again, I didn't read it as assault, so this is something that's a little, like, weird to me. I didn't know that this was, like, again, I'm not part of the Berserk community, but the way I read this was not of assault. It just kind of felt like a weird anime, like, sex scene. I don't. It just felt like an anime sex scene. It says like how all anime characters like when they like each other. So I didn't really understand.
He took advantage of him in a vulnerable state, and he couldn't consent. She raped him.
Oh, okay. That's. I don't think there was any of that of raping going on between either of these people. I think this is. It could be argued that this scene was consensual or not, depending on how you read the context. But in my context, it would seem consensual for both sides, and it was leading up to this. But I don't feel like he was put in that position. That's not how I read this. I feel like this just went delusional really fast.
Just that badass Mountain Dew Code Red rage side of him. It's more than just that goddamn jawline. Holy shit.
Berserk glazers. Not only do these guys harass anyone who dresses up as Griffith, but they also glaze the
Bro, my chat's going off, dude. Somebody over here, dude, fucking is the bald and gay king of gaming. Let's go! Bald and gay king of gaming!
fuck out of Berserk. Like, if I see another 1 hour video of how Berserk changed your entire life and how deep it is to you, I'm gonna have to start committing war crimes. Now,
I honestly, unironically, this was something that made me look at writing and stuff a lot better because of how impactful Berserk was to me. Now, did it change my life? No, but I started wanting more writing as good as Berserk, and it made me have trouble reading and even playing fantasy games, dude. This context and the beauty that is pulled from this by using very dark subject matter honestly made me look at media in a different light than I ever did before. I think it's that profoundly well written. At least the Golden Age arc is. Now the Black Swordsman arc is just kind of dark edgy boy, but you can see the nuances that he has that makes the Golden Age arc so much more impactful.
actually though, look, when I first checked out Berserk, do you know what I watched first? The anime. The 2016 anime. And the 2016
So that's where you made a mistake. Nobody should watch the fucking 2016 anime first. If you watch the fucking 2016 anime before you watch the Golden Age arc, you are fucking stupid. Literally, if you look up online what to watch when it comes to Berserk, it'll tell you the original 1990s anime or the Golden Age arc. Why are you dying? Don't die in chat. Just be happy. Is this not enjoyable? I feel like I'm fucking having a great time.
17. So I pretty much ate the shit before I ate the 5-star meal. These Berserk glazers will yap non-stop about how this masterpiece transcends time and space. I mean, they like Berserk so much that after the creator died, they harassed the assistant of the creator and his friends just because they don't think that's how the creator
This is fucking cringe. Anybody who is harassing the creator, he was literally working with the main creator of Berserk for like 10 plus years, and he already knew what the direction of the manga was going to go, and he's just trying to do right by the creator. You should not harass somebody who literally lost one of their best friends because you're a fucking mad in your fifis. You are a cringe lord and you suck if that's your mentality.
would have done the new chapters.
Dude, the Chronicles of Riddick anime goes so fucking hard. If you like the Chronicles of Riddick anime, you would love Berserk, the Golden Age arc. Again, watch the Golden Age arc. It's basically the same thing as the 1990s anime, but better quality.
There's a reason why new chapters haven't come out. It's because the artists
They have been. They started coming out again.
are scared for their lives.
They're not scared for their lives. They honestly, I bet they looked at a bunch of this shit and just ignored it. I mean, I bet they saw it as being annoying, and they probably waited a decent amount of time to really get it ready so that they didn't look like assholes. So they didn't look like they were just trying to push through his death. They probably internally looked at this, said, we need to take a reasonable amount of time to grieve. And even though Japan has a really toxic workplace environment, I'm sure that they took the time necessary so that it didn't look to the fan base like they were just trying to push through his death. They probably took the reasonable amount of time, really storyboarded things out, and I'm sure they already had stuff already ready to go. They just were waiting for the right time to drop it.
I do feel like most of
This happens in almost everything, including movies and stuff. When an actor dies, they will wait a reasonable amount of time and then put it out, trying to make the actor look as good as possible.
fans are chill, that is until you say something bad about Berserk, then you're about to get hunted down like a pagan. They'll also begin explaining why Berserk is more important than your life, more important than your family, more important than your world, and more important than the Bible.
Anybody who makes one thing their entire personality sucks. That's like plain and simple. You should be a well-versed person. You should have like many interests and many things you like to do. If you find where you are just constantly locked down in this type of mind state where only one thing matters to you more than anything else, that is a problem. Now, Berserk is my favorite manga or anime. It's the only manga I've ever read. It's the only one I've ever read because it meant so much to me, the Golden Age arc. But at the same time, it is not the only thing that matters to me. There's a lot of things that I think are good, and like I would argue that One Punch Man is as good as Berserk, but they're completely different. I think they both hold their own, and I can watch either one and still enjoy myself.
They treat Berserk like some holy relic, which is crazy because this is exactly how those crazy ass worshippers acted in the show. If you don't know what I'm talking about the biggest menace in a real life Minecraft character, Mosus. Mosus is the worst kind of person you can come across. Not only does he claim to be the servant of God, but he also takes advantage of the weak by using their suffering to get them to endure the worst tortures. We get our first glimpse of him when Farnese is ordered to protect some holy people, who actually—
Bro, why the fuck is that? Like, that helmet, like, it's just such a weird thing to put on your helmet. So just somebody had to craft those cheeks. You know how much polishing that motherfucker put in only in that part of the helmet? So much extra time. Bro went berserk mode on just polishing the ass cheeks of that helmet.
Really are very holy at all. Like, these guys be torturing, murdering, and committing war crimes on innocent civilians, while claiming it's justice. I can't believe how no one sees that it's just a gang of deformed inbreds who look like the most evil motherfuckers you can come across. We see him get his first victim when a woman who had a starving child was begging for food, but instead of food, she wins a lifetime supply of pain. Farnese also witnesses this. This
is what makes Berserk so good, though, is the fact that it doesn't shy away from getting that dark. And this is why the goal, or the Black Swordsman arc and these arcs after the Golden Age arcs are so brilliant, because it's before the Golden Age arc you don't see the brutality, you don't see how horrible the world is, and it takes the most fucked up shit imaginable to happen at the end of the Golden Age arc to make you understand the rest of the context of this entire world. There's a reason why all the Dark Souls games are heavily inspired by this, is to show the brutality of a world that once that veil is moved, you see how awful things truly are. And that's where it talks to the greater ideas of like life. I mean, you can see the darkness and everything, but it's how you rise above it. And I don't think that Gus really sees where I'm at right now, sees that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but I'm sure eventually he does. I'm hoping.
And for some freaky ass reason gets wet. And look at this ugly ass motherfucker Mosus laughing. He won't be laughing for long, as he made a mistake of messing with Casca, who is Gus's girl, and ends up getting his ass folded despite having all that armor. Berserk glazers may defend all the gore and sexual assaults in the series, but I don't think they realized that even the creator regretted putting in all those assaults. So the argument that is—
well, yeah, dude, I would like it's rough to watch, but I think the defense of it shows the brutality of the world, and then moving away from it, you've already set a precedent of how fucked up can get, and it's about rising above it. I think that yeah, it's a little far and a little bit too extreme, but at the same time, I think it goes to show how brutal the world is and how brutal it can become, and then the rest of the story seems to be pushing ahead of that. Well, at least I hope. I haven't read all of it, but if the writing's any indication, it's of what I've read so far, is even the like the sad moments, you see there's this light in Gus, even though he claims it's not there and he claims he doesn't care. I feel like it's trying to highlight that eventually things will get better. It's about pushing past and trying to destroy the evil in front of you to make a better world.
The dark fantasy,
because it's using, but I'm gonna say one more thing here. It's using the brutality to show what's going on instead of telling you how brutal everything is. That's the problem I have a lot with a lot of writing nowadays. Is it's going to tell you how fucked up the world is and how all these problems, and it's gonna lecture you. But Berserk just shows it.
It's supposed to have this much depiction of sexual assault. Doesn't work. No one in their right mind is gonna agree with their crazy ass. Alright, so now that y'all know about the Berserk glazers, what about the haters of Berserk? What do they look like? Well, one thing I can tell you is that they definitely don't have big pecs or a jawline that can climb mountains. Because these haters are mostly from Twitter, who complain and cry about Berserk being too brutal for their soft ass. Also, why are these blue hair omni-gender smurfs checking out Berserk? What were they expecting? That it was just a story about Peachy Senpai? Have they not heard about how notorious it is for being the most brutal and dark
Dude, Berserk, honestly, like, I think that a lot of people go into it expecting every anime to be like, oh, bad guy's there, you beat bad guy, everything's okay, next bad guy shows up, and then you beat bad guy and rinse and repeat until your dick's completely empty. The thing with Berserk is it breaks you down to your bare bones, and then you have to rebuild. You are in the darkest future, and it's how do you make this horrible world that you're a part of sustainable for the future? And that's the beauty of Berserk. It's the show that all this brutality exists, but how do you rise above it? How do you beat the most evil that's sitting right in front of you? And that's what's brilliant about Berserk. And a lot of people get caught up with the gore and the evil imagery of Berserk, but at the end of the day, you're not reading the nuances, and that's your problem. You're not willing to look past it to understand why it's there from a critical level.
show. They even try to cancel the creator Miura, who is already freaking dead. Rest in peace, the legend. Like, they were rubbing dirt on a dead man's grave. They also say that women are treated poorly in the series, but did they not see how the men are treated in Berserk? Like, both genders are being fucked up on both sides.
Dude, that's stupid. If you're just like, oh, the women are treated badly, everyone gets fucked in this show. Absolutely everyone. There is no one who's okay. That's what's brilliant about Berserk. It's one of the reasons I like Demon Hunter. So, alright, I think it's called Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter so much is because no one's safe. No one's okay. The world is fucked. But you have to do something to change the world. Otherwise, what you went through is going to happen to someone else.
Wouldn't it be sexist if they gave the woman an easy card? These creatures, who are known as Berserk haters, make no sense. So let's check out the pug cultists instead. Now, Guts has his fair share of tomboys and femboys, but what about this genderless thing?
All Sigmas ain't skibbity. Exactly, bro. All Sigmas ain't skibbity. Like, I don't even know how that relates to this, but I like it.
Known as Puck the Nazi, who has an entire
What?
cultists who secretly worship him as a deity. Probably because he's the only light in this fucked up world known as Berserk. Puck cultists like to spend 99% of their day debating over whether if Puck is a boy or a girl. Me personally, I think he's a boy. Looking at, actually, I don't know.
He's a fucking fairy. Who cares? He's a fucking fairy. Like, he just exists, bro. He's nothing. He's genderless. He's a fucking little fairy. He's a different species. Who cares? Who the fuck cares? These are people who have gender on their mind way too much. That like, gender is the most important thing to them. Anybody who's like this, who fucking cares? He's like a little fucking, he's a fantasy creature. It's like, who gives a fuck? It's like, oh, dude, that dragon that killed half of society, he was probably a male dragon because of the aggression. It's like, oh, no, she was female because it was probably on her period. Nobody cares, dude. This is the shit that's brain rotting your mind is gender bullshit.
Oh, he doesn't have a PP. Well, even if we did figure it out, what would happen? It's not like our lives are gonna get any shittier or better. Guts and Puck are like best friends who hate each other passionately, but they can't help but lean on each other because Guts is the darkness that needs the light, while Puck is the light that needs the darkness to shine. This goofy naked creature made Berserk.
I think a little bit needs to shine, but I think it was also a way for the writer to lighten up what was going on, to make you understand the nuances of Gus. I think without Puck there, I think Gus would just look way too edgy. But it's when you see that brutality and how Puck reacts to it, but then you see the pain in Guts' eyes, you see that Guts doesn't like that he has to do this, that he's doing it because he has to and there's no other choice. It's not about him not feeling and being so dark. It's about him doing what he knows he has to do, or otherwise the world's not going to get any better. And Puck lives from this very innocent perspective that you got to be nice, but Guts knows that no matter how nice you are in this world, nothing will get done, and somebody has to do it. Somebody has to get their hands dirty. And I think it's a perfect correlation between the two. I think Puck's creation was literally just to highlight Guts being more than just your fucking I'm killing everything guy.
What it is today, because without it, Berserk wouldn't be Berserk. It legit sounds like I'm one of those Puck cultists, which I am, because bro, Puck is the homie we all need, but too freaking bad, he died. Puck!
What? I didn't know that. That sucks.
No! Did someone really just say that Puck is a cheeked up, big booty elf that does all these sexual poses? Alright, that's about enough of Puck cultists for today.
My queen. You drop this.
Now, what about the Ebony tomboy simps? If you don't know what I'm referring to, then you definitely have no idea who Casca is.
Casca's fucking the hottest character in anime ever. I'm just gonna say that. I was like so attracted to her. I also have a thing for brown women, always have. My wife is definitely Arab, so there is definitely a thing. I've always had a thing for brown women, so she was like, when I saw this, I was like, dude, it's like my wife.
Casca is a tomboy who was about to be sexually assaulted when she was younger, but Griffith saved her, so she devoted her life to serving him with all her might.
Griffith saved her from being sexually assaulted to try to sexually assault her. That's exactly what Berserk is.
She pretty much fell for this charismatic, narcissistic femboy. That is until she met Guts.
And this is why I don't watch the 90s. I don't like the 90s watch as much as the Golden Age arc, because I think the fluidity of the animation is so much better.
She actually tried fighting him, but got her ass beat. But Guts got his ass beat by Griffith, so he ended up becoming part of the crew, in which Griffith's gay ass had a huge boner for Guts for some reason. They even played together, butt naked in the water. If that isn't some gay shit, I don't know what is. This relationship made Casca jealous, but after seeing Griffith's cheeks getting clapped by a disgusting old man, she was like, oh hell nah, and ended up getting together with Guts. Everyone by this point hated Casca, but also started liking her, as she was a really cool character.
I never hated her. I understood her position. She was trying to rise above it, and she wasn't seen as an equal to Griffith. She wanted to be on the same level, and she just didn't have the ability to reach there. And I think that she was trying to rise above and be past the woman of beat past the idea of her just being another chick. She wanted to rise above that, and I think that's very that's very inspirational. I thought she was a very interesting character. I never hated her, and I understood why she didn't like Guts, because it was something new. It was new to the environment, and honestly, everybody else in Griffith's crew was kind of hesitant of Guts at the same time, because he killed a couple of their crewmen in their first introduction to his character. So I honestly think that if she was right to be as standoffish with him. I thought that it worked perfectly. I don't understand how anybody could have hated her early on.
At a time. So it's to be expected that we'd get thousands of simps simply for Casca, which is exactly why Griffith became the biggest op in the anime universe after betraying the entire Band of the Hawk, which is what the group is called. Not only did his dumbass sacrifice everyone to be eaten by demons, but he also did something so irredeemable that every single person that witnessed this scene either shat their pants, too shocked to speak, or they had the same reaction as Guts, who witnessed the love of his life.
Dude, I was fucking pissed. I was fucking pissed at this whole section. This is the roughest, most gnarly thing you've ever seen. And anybody who says that this scene wasn't important, honestly does not understand what Berserk's about. This is the changing point. This is the critical mass situation that changes this from just being a normal anime to one of the most brutal, beautiful things you've ever seen. Not that this itself was beautiful, but like, the fact that maybe there's change that's possible. You're looking toward the future, and the future is dark right now, but you're hoping for a better outcome for all these people. And like I said, I haven't read all the manga. I'm only on the first volume of like the Manga series. I got the big bound book, and I think that I'm hoping that eventually everything works out for Gus and for her. And it's just like the dark. It shows the brutality of man, or woman, in a way. It shows this brutality that's just so authentic, but so fucked up at the same time. I love this.
Be violated by his best friend. This is the type of shit that made Batman, because the moment you do this type of shit, it's on sight. So Ebony tomboy simps are the main reason why the majority of Berserk community hates Griffith so much. It's also
as they should, because Griffith is a piece of shit. What he did to her was not okay.
because 99% of Berserk's community are all Ebony tomboy enjoyers. If you're not, then why are you even watching Berserk? There's no—
What? It's not even that that she's like a tomboy that's really a thing. I think I enjoyed it more for everything else, and I saw the love between them. That was more for me. I saw it as like an authentic relationship that they built between each other. And you made an alt counter recently? Well, congratulations. I hope it's a good one. But I think it built this actual believable relationship where they're both trying to be better and both trying to like rise themselves, or both build themselves up. And they're doing it together, and it's just something really, really beautiful that I fell in love with their characters and their dynamic together. So when what happened to her happened, it made it made this whole thing more meaningful. It made the atrocity more meaningful, because everything up until that point was beautiful. It was one of the most beautiful stories ever, and then it just took this dark turn that sets the precedent for the rest of the what you're gonna read.
No way it's just for the story and guts, right?
Piece of advice: if you're going to put this shit in your video and not have any sub, then just do the dub.
Farnese enjoyers. There are very few waifus in Berserk, which besides Guts, we have Farnese, who actually used to be a massive dickhead. Like, this character was introduced in the goofiest way possible. Her and her army tried to capture Guts, but Guts folded most of them, even in his beat up state. She got lucky when Guts pretty much fell asleep on her sword, and for some damn reason, after taking Guts into custody, she started whipping herself. She's also infamous for the horse scene, which is when her dumbass was captured by Guts. But while apostles were appearing out of nowhere, she decided she wanted to be a goofy, so she ran away from the only person that could protect her. She tried getting on her horse and riding it, but the fucking horse turned to her with that sexual harassment face and tried to ride her instead. Gus then saves her, but narrowly splits her in half, which causes her to get horny as fuck and try to ride Gus's Dragon Slayer. Now, y'all might be thinking, either Farnese is a freak, or she's a shitty character. So why do these Berserk fans say that she's a better waifu than a Ebony?
Okay, so this chick's better in every way because she actually is like a built character. This other chick I was never the biggest fan of.
Girl.
I also can't watch that anime, so I had to start this bitch from the beginning. I haven't even got to the Golden Age arc yet, so a lot of this 2016 stuff I have no context to add on.
Oh.
Call me a non-real Berserk fan if you want. I just found this so profound that I started reading the manga.
Well, that's because Casca got so traumatized from the eclipse that she became autistic and ended up becoming just a random ass person with Down syndrome that Guts has to protect.
She doesn't have Down syndrome. That's stupid. That's a stupid comparison. It's a funny joke. I get it. It's good. It's like she's broken. She's basically been put into an institutionalized state. The PTSD effectively lobotomized her.
So Farnese, after being a part of the holy cultists and seeing Gus as a badass, absolutely bitch slap apostles left and right, fell for his ass and wanted to be just like him. Bro, I'm telling you, Gus got that unspoken risk. Bro was building a freaking harem without even trying. He even got Wizard Girl blushing and Farnese fawning over him. Too bad his real lover doesn't want to stop acting like a disabled person.
Yep, you're banned.
As the story progresses, we get to see Farnese change from stuck-up bitch to waifu material. She protects.
You should check out the Sandman visual novel. Okay, I can do that after this if you want.
Well, and even fights alongside Guts. I mean, all of us would have shat ourselves if we saw the things Guts saw. But Farnese shat herself and still chose to stay by Gus's side. I would say if you're a Farnese enjoyer, you definitely have more sense than the Ebony Tom girl enjoyers who are just stuck in the world of nostalgia of Casca in her glory days.
Well, I think it's the hope that Casca will become good again. Well, I think the best thing for this wouldn't be this new girl. I think it would be Casca finally breaking to reality again. I think that's what most people want. I don't think that they're stuck here. I think they want a brighter future because I think everybody wants to see things turn around in this universe. That's where I'm at with her. I want to see things come back for Gus again because he cares so much.
Before she became absolutely useless.
He might seem like a good and happy person on the outside, but inside he's a monster.
What happened to him?
Something changed that day inside of him. Something snapped. He died that day, and something else was born.
There's one more type of fan that used to run the Berserk community before it was taken over by idiots. The strugglers. The strugglers are the motherfuckers who actually like Berserk and want to defend it with their lives for some reason. These are the motherfuckers who be arguing with the Goku fans because, like the Goku fans, their entire life revolves around the series they obsess over. The craziest thing is though, these type of fans actually have crazy physiques and literally swing giant swords around. Maybe it's because all these guys either think they're gods or want to become gods. They even made it swords and workout routines. These fucking chads also said fuck the 2016 and 2017 adaptation because it's horseshit. They decided to take things into their own hands and create their own animation of Berserk 2016 and 2017 without the shitty CGI. Studio Eclipse is definitely gonna do the series justice.
This got shut down. The fucking Black Swordsman arc by them got shut down by the studios, or by the people who own the rights to Berserk. So we are not gonna see this. It's a big sad day, and I'm actually kind of upset about it because I was really excited for this.
Because for years, this series has been dragged through the mud, spat on, thrown into a pile of cow shit, and left to raw because no animation studio believes in it. Remember, Studio Eclipse is literally just a group of Berserk fans who teamed up to remake this masterpiece. Though these type of Berserk fans still have that edgy characteristic, which is inside of all Berserk enjoyers.
What's up, it's Kyle Stoic here, and I want to say a few things. So first things first, Studio Eclipse. Studio Eclipse has...
And it sucks that this isn't coming out. I saw a few months ago it was released that they were gonna get sued.
Pretty much has to abandon the animation because the studio itself, the publishing company, like copyright strike them. Now pretty much we're all fucked. Also, one last thing is a small YouTuber named Zillion is gonna start a continuation of Berserk's manga. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you guys subscribe because I will post them out here and promote them because I love helping small artists. And if you look in my Discord, you know, I actually love artists.
This sucks. This was a big L for the Berserk community. I'm not gonna lie. Again, I'm just kind of new to this shit, and I was very excited to see more Berserk content, and the fact that we're not getting it and the studio's not putting anything out. Like, if you're shutting down other things, why do we have something in the works? Give me some fucking information. I would love to see the Black Swordsman arc done.
Okay, I was, love to help you guys out. And one last thing, okay, the studio, the publishing company itself of Berserk's manga, don't know what to do with Kentaro Miura's work. Okay, they just, as you can see, they haven't posted any new chapters in like.
I think this is wrong. News. Scheduled for fall of 2024. So after returning for the hiatus. So yeah, it's coming back. It's coming back.
Hella time, okay? But you guys stay tuned for that, okay? Alright.
And I understand their position. You don't want to come back and then fuck it up. You don't want to come back and fuck it up. That's if you have something as important as Berserk and the main author just died, you can't just show up and then just act like nothing happened. I understand the hiatus because they want to bring back out a product that lives up to his standard and try not to besmirch his name. I can completely understand the time. And you should link the Sandman visual novel in chat.
Alright, boys, that's all I gotta say. Peace out, and I love y'all.
Yeah. The author of Berserk died. He died in 2023. He is gone. There is no more. He is no more. But the guy that he worked with, like the entirety of his like not the entirety, but like the majority, a good portion of like half of the time he was making the Berserk novel, he was working with another guy, and that other guy's just taking over. So I think that it's in good hands. It's just about taking the time and trying to bring something out that's right. And now I haven't read up to that point. I don't. By the time I would get there, it would probably the Berserk's probably going to be done. I just am really sad that Studio Eclipse wasn't able to put out the product they wanted to put out, because I had a lot of hope for what they were going to do. I had a good feeling that it was going to be better than whatever the slop was, the 2016, 2017. The visuals are so distracting with 2016, 2017. I can't even understand what's going on. I get to where I'm not paying attention anymore, and it really sucks. It really sucks. But yeah, that's the Berserk fan base being goddamn gooners. I agree with some of the sentiment in the video. I am a bit of a Berserk defender. If anybody says Berserk shit, I just think your opinions are invalid. But that's my take on that.